People, good people, thank you for joining us for the pre-draft press conference for the Fargo Flygons. I'm your coach, JK, Josh, Uncle Josh, breaker of keyboards, or any of my other crazy titles that they gave me in the Discord. I'm your head coach of the Fargo Flygons, and we're going to talk today about our pre-draft strategy, talk about what I think about the league and our opponents, and just kind of outline what our season's going to look like. So first and foremost, let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about kind of what we're hoping to do here with the Fargo Flygons and our draft league aspirations here. So to recap, in the draft we get 1 OU Mon, 1 UU Mon, 2 RU, 2 NU or PU, and then 4 free slots where we have 250 points to draft any combination of the 4 tiers. You could do 1 of each. You could do 2 OU, 2 NU, PU. You could do 3 UU and 1 NU, PU, or you could do an OU and 3 RUs. I think that's probably where we're going to go, is kind of that 1 more OU and then a bunch of RU Mons. We would also potentially look at some UUs, 3 of the UUs plus an NU to kind of round out the strategy. Depends on how the first couple of picks go. But I feel like we have a really good strategy for how the draft is going to play out. We're going with a pretty non-conventional core. I took a look in the last week leading up to the draft. We had the big board out there and we looked at the different options. The really balanced firewater grass core, the really defensive oriented, dragon steel fairy core that has some good sweeping options. We also looked at a core of fighting dark and psychic type Pokemon. And that was really interesting. And that's kind of where I was leaning during the first couple of days of draft prep. Now, I thought the water, fire, grass core, everybody does that. That's probably going to happen anyway. The Dragon Fairy Steel core is cool. I love Dragon type Pokemon. We were going to grab, some really cool things there. But the fighting, dark, and psychic core got me really intrigued and really excited. Tyranitar is my favorite Pokemon. It fits into the dark type slot. It would be really cool to run, even though it's secondary dark type. We had a really cool idea moving forward for what we wanted out of that kind of a core. And then I started looking at some other options. Sand was a big thing, in keeping with my love of Tyranitar and Flygon being the mascot. We thought, well, let's look into this. Turns out all the good weather teams are like primarily OU Pokemon. There's rain, there's sand, maybe even sun. Hail is cool, but it's like, really make that work, you need a bunch of really high-tiered Pokemon, and it's a pretty linear strategy. So I thought, to hell with that. We're not doing that. We're going to go into kind of the theme that we picked. I'm really excited about the core options that we picked. We've got a lot of flexibility in which Pokemon are going to fit that role. It's going to make us really durable, really flexible, and that's kind of what I want out of my core, that 3 Pokemon that are really interchangeable, really integral to your strategy. 2 of which are probably going to be in the lineup every week, and then complemented by our different sweepers or setup Pokemon or hazards or whatever the different roles are. So I'm really excited about the core options that we have. Cool thing is there's some of these Pokemon that are probably not going to even get looked at until the later rounds. So, we could probably front load some things and maybe grab some of our targeted Pokemon early and not have to spend our really valuable picks until later on in the draft. There's also, some definite high tier OU, UU Pokemon that I want to grab that they're probably going to get looked at, by a number of different teams. So this being an 8-team draft, there's a lot of picks, there's a lot of Pokemon, not a lot of picks. So each team, like I said, is only guaranteed 1 OU Pokemon. You can have as many as 3 with kind of that one strategy. But I think we've got a good shot at getting at least one of kind of like our targeted 3 out of those top 2 tiers. So a lot of our theme and kind of the ones that I'm looking at are like RU Pokemon. So it should be kind of pretty doable to be able to grab those really valuable RU picks, especially early on in the draft, and give us some flexibility. Sweepers, because we kind of imploded our draft strategy about 2 hours ago, I don't really even know. A lot of this draft is going to happen on the fly, which is not what I wanted to do. But the general management, the scouts on the team, with the holiday in there, they weren't able to do a lot of the background research. We might be playing some money ball here with our 4 kind of points picks, but a lot of this is going to happen on the fly. And I apologize to the fans for that, because I wanted to be more prepared, and we're not. I've got a good idea on what our core is going to be, and then beyond that, it's going to be what's left, what complements the mons that I do draft, because there could be a number of different options available, and I think we're going to have a pretty unique strategy. So I don't expect a lot of things to get sniped per se. But maybe some of those like, I really want this because it works with the 3 that we just drafted. Those picks might get taken before we can get around to them. We are the 5th pick, so we're right in the heart of the order, which I actually like. We don't have a wheel. We don't get back-to-back picks or 2 really close ones, but I think we're evenly spaced out throughout the rounds, and I think that's advantageous to our draft strategy and how we want to go about this, especially with kind of, like I said, our game plan getting kind of about 2 hours ago. With that being said, draft was at 9:30 here, so in about 32 minutes, we're going to get started. We're going to get that number 1 pick. We're going to give him that Fargo Flygons jersey, give him that great signing bonus, and then we're going to start dunking on people. With that, I guess I'll open it up to reporter questions. Go ahead. So I don't want to get too much into kind of who my targeted mons are, but I can tell you that our mascot pick, the Flygon, is not on the board. Just doesn't really fit what I'm going for. It's a little underpowered compared to some of the other things that do its job better, I guess, in my opinion. So we will not be making a mascot pick with this draft. Over here. What do you think of the other teams? Well, it's tough to say. We don't really have a lot of information. I've talked with Noah. I know one of the Pokemon that he is looking to get, and I think it's a good, solid option. It's not something that I have on my draft board, although we could be really devious and just take it first round and really piss him off. But I don't think we need to do that. I think we'll go into week 1 with the team that I want, not sabotaging other people. But yeah, if you just run down the league, down the lineup, Dylan, non-factor. He's a filthy casual. Not worried about him. DJ, he's gonna have a lot of the expectation to be like the front runner and the guy that's gonna be in first. So I'm excited to play against DJ. I think he's going to be a great competition. I'm not scared to face him, but I know he's definitely going to bring his A game. We got to have the team trained up. Practice has got to go well all week, and we got to be ready when we do get around to playing DJ. And that's our week 2 matchup. So it's going to be interesting, and I hope we do well. Noah, I think, is going to do really well in this league. Like I said, he kind of shared with me one of his draft ideas, and I really like it. And I think he is going to be somebody to look out for, kind of in the top half. It's tough to say with only 8 people where each team is going to slide. But we're going to look to sink the arc, if you know what I mean. But it might be a challenge. Sean and Garrett, they're 2 Canadian bros. They're big question marks. Lanky Paul. I really want to give him 2 lanky legs, and I want to dunk in some sauce. So you interpret that how you want. Sam, kind of in Dylan's realm. He doesn't really play Pokemon, so I'm not too worried. Although I can't go in overconfident. Sam and Dylan are both smart. They could both draft really well. They could both potentially have scary teams. So, I'm not counting anything as a guaranteed win, but, definitely I'm not too scared. Harry is another big non-factor. A big question mark. I don't really know how he's gonna go about this. If he plays Pokemon like he plays Smash, it could be a really big thorn in my side. I don't have the best track record against Harry, but I'm hoping that in the Pokemon world, we can look to snag some good victories there and be able to cruise into playoffs with a pretty good record, I hope. We're definitely aiming high. I want to be in the top 3 for sure. Bottom 3, we don't even have to worry about it. I'm not letting that happen. As coach, I guarantee it. And like I said, if we're in the middle of the pack, we're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure we make those playoffs, and we're going to fight for the crown. First half of the season looks really good for us. Our opening week is against Sauce. And then we play Sam, Harry, Dylan, Noah, Sean. I'm looking at the wrong schedule. I apologize. We just got this finalized tonight. My schedule is Garrett, then DJ, Sam, Harry, Dylan, Noah, and then Sean at the last week of the first half before the All-Star break. That's 7 weeks. I think this is going to be a 14-week season. We had planned on playing each other twice, round-robin style, so that's 14 games, which is a pretty big season. But I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I want to dunk on some people, and I think our draft should be able to do that. Last question here before we close it out, and the draft starts in 27 minutes. Who do you think our biggest rival is going to be? Well, I just kind of answered that, right? I think DJ is going to be at the top of the mountain, the guy that we're shooting for. I'm definitely going to put a target on his back. Noah, I think, is going to be super competitive. And then I've really got 3 question marks. I don't know how good Sean, Garrett, and Harry are going to be. And like I said, Dylan and Sam could be surprises. They could sneak up on us if we're not careful. But I think, I'm most looking forward to playing Noah and seeing what we can do against the commish and see if we can win.